It's Victory Tuesday here on the Raiders Report. Mitchell Renz, host of the #1 most watched Raiders show in the world because of the nation. We said yesterday that the nation deserves better. And you know what, man? It wasn't a pretty game, but overall, the Raiders came away with a win. I will do a spoiler alert. My voice is absolutely shot from late last night, screaming our head off. I mean, it was a crazy showing by the Silver and Black on Monday Night Football, but I don't take any days off. Jeremy Jugs doesn't take any days off. I know, I keep going with that. And we are bringing y'all some Raiders content today. So coming up, we got some Raiders trade targets. There was a report from Diana Rossini that said that the Raiders are looking to add a potential Chandler Jones replacement. You could even see it in terms of being a one-for-one player deal. So I got 6 players that I could see the Raiders and I would want the Raiders to target in a potential trade. Then I got some burning questions before our Week 6 game up against the New England Patriots. We're going to talk about Jimmy Garoppolo. We're going to talk about Josh McDaniels. I sat down this morning and I talked to a Raiders starter. I'll give you an update on him. Then we got trade candidates. If the Raiders are talking about potentially trading a player-for-player swap, at least that's what the report is from Diana, well then, hey, we got to talk about the top 5 players that are most likely to be dealt. As always, if you want to get those questions, comments here on the show, hashtag Raiders, or you can super chat to get those questions up here on the show. And look at this, man. We already got suicide guns. Much needed win. We needed this coach. McDummy still screwed up big time. The defense bailed us out. I mean, what world are we in right now where this Raiders defense is bailing us out? I mean, it's kind of incredible, the fact of how well this team has played over the first 5 games. And I get it. That first game against the second game against the Bills, you know, there was a little bit of struggle here. And that's what's going to happen once in a while. But against the Broncos, they played a solid game. Against the Chargers, they played a solid game. The Steelers, they played well. I mean, you're looking at 4 out of 5 weeks. This Raiders defense played well enough that put you in a shot to win some football games. And realistically, when you spend the amount of money that you did on the offensive side of the football and you hire an offensive-minded head coach, if you're giving up the amount of points that the Raiders have on defense, you should be 4-1 right now. However, the offense has been the problem, and currently the Raiders are sitting at 2-3. But luckily, we got some easier matchups, but nothing is ever guaranteed in the NFL. I want everybody to welcome in Jeremy Chugs, and if you want to shout out here on the show, spam Jeremy Chugs right now.
Go!
What is up? What is up? Remember, it's Tuesday. The only way I'm drinking on a Tuesday is if somebody makes me hit that gong. If somebody makes me hit that gong, I'm drinking, and I don't know. I woke up this morning, I walked into work, and I looked at Jeremy, and I go, I might still be drunk. And you guys put it to me late last night. There's no doubt about it. Drop your area code where you're watching from on today's show. Jeremy, what's the area code that we're in right now?
We are in the 214.
Oh, yeah, okay. I always forget.
Yeah, I would say we're in the 214.
214. Shout out to the 570. Venom Sosa. Waza. What up, Jake Smith out in England? We got Wes Coulter, the 208. Juan Hernandez, 702. Jurassic
Smith.
Raider.
Have you met Martin?
I mean, I hope so. I can just picture those two guys just sitting down, drinking tea together. Hopefully, watching the Raiders Report. What up, Connor from the 570? That's what's up right there. That's my home. That's my homeland. What up, Tony? 812, Raphael 209. Everybody, welcome in Mount Raidermore, Patrick B from the 802, Cody Clark from the 440, Victor from the 209. And if you ever see somebody that's also repping in the same area code, like I see AP, and then also somebody was just in there from 209. You guys should hang out. Go grab a beer. Go grab some dinner. Talk a little Raiders football. I think that'd be pretty dang awesome. Oh, wow. Brusta says the 508 Foxborough. Are you looking forward to this weekend? I know if I was you, I would be. Let's go to Joey Gutierrez, Renfro in a second for Brian Burns. Any other ideas?
Not even close.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I think you're looking at Hunter Renfro. You probably got to throw in a second, a first, and I don't even know if that's going to be enough to get Brian Burns. I mean, earlier, they were looking for 2 firsts, and I think even more than that.
And you got to think, what have we been saying? What is Renfro worth? Like a late-round pick. So
Yeah.
like a 6th or a 7th. So if I was like Brian Burns for a 2nd and a 7th, you'd be like, no way.
Yeah, again, now the Carolina Panthers are in a little bit of a fire sale, yard sale mode, so maybe you could get a guy at a discount, but there was reports, again, that they were turning down 2 first-round picks, apparently, for Brian Burns, and if they feel that highly of him, you're going to have to throw in a lot more because Hunter Renfrow has been bad this season.
Speaking of trades, why don't you trade out those fast food, bad microwave, frozen meal dinners for our sponsor, Factor? Fresh meals at the convenience of your own home. 2 minutes for a fresh and nutritious meal. Is it possible? Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Factor.
I mean, I'll tell you this right now. I mean, when you get home last night from a watch party, or imagine you're out at the bars with your buddies, you're watching a little Raiders football, and you get home and you're like, crap, I don't know what I'm going to make. That happened to me late last night. I got home at probably 1:30 in the morning, needed something to eat, and I didn't want to have to cook an entire meal, but it was also super nice and easy. I actually had the honey maple barbecue ground beef one, which absolutely slapped, but it was healthy, it's nutritious, and it's super, super simple, which is definitely sometimes what you need, especially when you're a busy person like me. So go to thefactormeals.com/RaidersChat50 and use code RaidersChat50 to get 50% off. That's code RaidersChat50 at factormeals.com/RaidersChat50 to get 50% off. This October, get Factor and enjoy eating well without the hassle. Simply choose your meals and enjoy fresh, flavor-packed meals delivered to your door, ready in just 2 minutes. No prep, no mess. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are ready in just 2 minutes, so all you have to do is heat and enjoy, then get back to crushing your goals. You can pick your pre-made meals online. It's very simple. They're prepped and cooked to perfection for you, so there's no cleanup, which a lot of the times I love to cook. I don't know if I've ever met anybody out there that loves to clean up, and if you do, well, then you might have to come over for some dinner because I'll cook if you clean.
I see Cody Clark asking, Jeremy, which one of those was your favorite to eat? So I had 2 favorites. All right, I don't want to say 2. I had a couple favorites. I really liked, they have a white chicken chili.
Yep.
Really good. I had actually never had white chicken chili before. Our chili expert, Chase Sr., was talking about chili earlier in the office. White chicken chili, pretty good. Do you like beans in your chili? Y for yes and for no. Also, the chicken and mushrooms it's like chicken and mushrooms with wild rice.
Yep.
Delicious. Absolutely delicious. And the honey mustard chicken, also very, very good.
I mean, they have burgers. Like, you can get different types of food, the
honey maple barbecue ground beef, very good.
Actually, you know what I did one time? Now, they have another option where you can spend more and you can get a filet mignon steak. I'm not kidding you right now. You can do the elevated ones and you can get even more. So, yeah, the roasted red pepper filet mignon, it's an extra, I want to say, $10, but I don't know how many restaurants that you can go to and you can get a filet mignon for the price that you pay with Factor. And I don't want to say this, but when I'm having dinner with Alex, I want her to think that I'm cooking this, but really, I just threw it in the microwave and she was like, oh shit, this is pretty damn good. And it is. It's
also,
really good. Yeah.
First pitch just went out. Let's go Stros. Let's go Stros,
Let's go Twins. I'm rooting for the Twins, man. Let's go Twins, base knock.
Let's go. Altuve, base knock to start off the first inning. Suck it, Sperry.
Man, we got 300 people here in the building. If you haven't already, click that like button. Jeremy's rooting for the Astros. I'm going for the Twins because, F the Stros. Who you got? Stros or Twins? I want you to type A for Astros, type T for Twins. Let me know who you got.
I know there's a ton of Astros fans in the chat right now.
Yeah.
Represent.
I'm sure.
Astros fans represent.
I'm sure. This guy, though, Gray, he's shitting bricks. What up, Esteban?
Moment's too big for him.
Was watching Graphs live a little while ago. I heard someone say, what would you think about a Justin Fields trade? Hypothetical, don't come for me. I don't want Justin Fields. I've never wanted the Raiders to trade for Justin Fields. I don't think the idea of you trading for a quarterback that his best asset is being an athlete. Fields is an incredible athlete, but he's a running back playing quarterback. And I know I've seen stats that he's got a lot of, passing touchdowns, and the offense does look like it's clicking a little bit more than what it has in the past. But to me, when you have the amount of talented quarterbacks that are about to come out in this draft, I do not see why you would settle on Justin Fields as your QB.
Unless it's a total, bargain bin shopping. If you can get Fields for a 5th or a 6th,
I mean, here's the thing, though, and this is not going to be something that Raider fans want to hear. If the Las Vegas Raiders trade for a quarterback, it's not going to be Justin Fields. It's going to be Mac Jones.
Oh, no.
I mean, it would be. That's the guy that Josh McDaniels drafted. That was his guy. They went to the Pro Bowl in 2021. That season, they went 10-7. And overall, like, that would be the player that I could see this organization going out and trying to get at QB. Now, again, I don't think that they end up trading for a QB because of how much money you've already paid Jimmy Garoppolo, $33 million guaranteed this season. So, like, it doesn't make sense for you to go away from the idea of just continuing to start Jimmy Garoppolo. But then again, like, with this organization, you never know. And they're going to do what they want to do. That's what they've always done. Let's go to Raider OGP. We need McDipshit to give up the play call, and it's terrible. We won, and I still don't feel good. A win is a win, but he handicapped us. I agree. Like, what's crazy to me is if this Raiders offense was average right now, you'd be 4-1. Yeah, like the Buffalo Bill game, you probably would have lost that one still. But you could be 4-1 with an average offense. Right now, as it stands, the Las Vegas Raiders have one of the worst offenses in all of football. You are ranked 29th in total yards. You're ranked 17th in passing yards per game. You're last in rushing yards per game, tied for 30th in terms of points per game, and you are second to last in total giveaways on offense. Like, there is no stretch of the imagination where you have a good offense right now, though you have apparently an offensive guru, and you also have a team that you try to surround with all of your guys offensively. Man, we got to tip our cap to this Raiders defense. They've been playing well. Our Raiders defense has been playing well, no doubt about it. Raider OG, I appreciate you. Let's go to the next one coming in here from Joey. I honestly believe we are 2-3 good players away from being a top team in the AFC. Our O-line can be suspect at times, but I think we need a good defensive tackle and corner. I love the optimism, Joey, and I do think that the Raiders can be a good team if they get 2 or 3 more players. Like, if you're able to add, and again, I'm going to talk about some players coming up here on the show. Like, there's some edge rushers that you could add in free agency, maybe like a Melvin Ingram, maybe like a Carlos Dunlap that could really help out your edge. Plus, if you were to go out and potentially trade for maybe a Danielle Hunter, maybe you trade for a Leonard Williams, you make a big-time splash. But the biggest problem is this. The Raiders are not going to be a top team in the AFC this season. Now, sure, they might get lucky and they might win a few games, and all it takes is for you to get into the playoffs and everybody has a shot to win. But as long as your quarterback is Jimmy Garoppolo, you're going to have the worst quarterback in the game. Like, to me, Jimmy G right now is not a top 25 QB, and you all know how hard I was on Derek Carr last season. I mean, right now you're talking about DC. He's probably in this 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 range overall for quarterback play. But right now, Derek Carr would probably be a better option than Garoppolo because, I'm sorry, Jimmy G handcuffs you every single time he's out there on the field right now. And it's hard to watch because you got vanilla Josh McDaniels and then you got extra vanilla Jimmy Garoppolo. And people laughed at me when I said that I think that I might be able to throw a football further than an NFL quarterback. I've watched Garoppolo now throw for 4 games. He's got 7 interceptions. He throws ducks. Dude throws ducks every single game. It's kind of hard to watch at times. All right, y'all, let me know down in the comments section. Give me one word to describe waking up after a Raiders win. Wow. Waking up after a Raiders win, I'll say relieved. I was relieved this morning. I slept beautifully. Like, when you wake up after a Raiders win compared to after a Raiders loss, because a Raiders loss, I'm on social media. I'm defending myself. I'm defending the Raiders. I'm attacking McDaniels. Like, you know, I feel like it's just all-out war on social media after a Raiders loss, and I don't sleep well at night. This next morning, I will admit, a one word after this past day was probably hungover, was definitely one that I could throw in there, but it was relieved. Seriously. I see Bruce Davis says relieved, refreshing from Rebel, tired from I'm Punchy 33, King Sanchez next, Cody Clark, amazing. Hey Nation from Queen Sarah Auto. Sin says it's a false hope win. You might think that, but even if it might be a false hope win, to me, like, the Raiders can beat, oh man, home run. That ball was smoked, 4-0 Stros. That ball was absolutely titted, 4-0 Stros. Sonny Gray is just shitting bricks right now. Shitting bricks. What up, Anthony? What up, Mr. Vigo? Corey Alexander, give me that one word to describe waking up after a Raiders win. All right, we got a few super chats to go through here. We got Mr. Vigo and then Raider OGP. What up, y'all? We will get to all your questions here in just a second. What up, Raider OG? When the F we going to get a defensive tackle, not an edge rusher? You need both right now. I think that when you were relying on having Chandler Jones out there on the field, you were relying on being able to have him. He's not there. Like, you still need to be able to get pressure. And when you know it, when you get pressure on the quarterback, you saw what it did last night to Jordan Love. The Raiders got 17 pressures on Jordan Love last night, and he threw 3 interceptions. Now, again, that's going to happen at times with Love, and he's kind of that risk-reward type of quarterback, but you need a defensive tackle, and you need an edge. I think both of those positions are something that if I'm the Raiders, I'm looking into. I thought Malcolm Kuntz played well. I know Tyree Wilson, for people that look at PFF all the time, I thought Tyree Wilson played okay, right? Like, I think it's going to take a little bit of time for him to get his feet wet. To me, though, like, you got to move on from Jerry Tillery. You got to add a defensive tackle. I totally hear you there. Mr. Vigo, Jimmy needs to clean it up. Refs weren't too bad, in my opinion. I thought it was a well-officiated football game yesterday. I mean, obviously, there's always going to be ebbs and flows. There's always going to be certain spots where you're like, oh, man, they missed a call there. Oh, like that one should have gone a certain way. But to me, this game was not dictated by the refs in any sense of the imagination. But Garoppolo does need to clean it up. If Garoppolo is going to lead the NFL in interceptions and play one less game than everybody else, you're not going to win many football games. What you need Garoppolo to do is Garoppolo needs to be the QB that goes out there, completes 70% of his passes, never turns the ball over, picks up a few clutch first downs, converts in the red zone, throws for 250 yards, and allows your running game to get going. The problem is the running game's not getting going because of how bad Jimmy Garoppolo is. Let's go to Kent. In the fourth quarter, in that fourth down field goal attempt, I'd go for it to seal the game. Thoughts? So I believe at that time the Raiders were up 17-13. You're talking about the one where Carlson's field goal ended up getting tipped. Oh, when it hit the that was still, yeah, I think that actually was still 17-13, the one that hit the right bar. I mean, here's my thing in that. I actually don't mind the field goal call there. It was a 53-yarder, and Carlson's been pretty automatic from 50+. Plus, I think McDaniels heard all the boo birds, me included, last week when he decided to pass on a 55-yarder. I mean, before that kick, Carlson was 24 of 29 from 50 yards and plus. So to me, I try to make this game a 7-point game when your defense has played well, because what you didn't want is then for the Green Bay Packers to have an opportunity to go down the field and potentially put points up on the board. I didn't mind the play call there. You trusted your defense, and your defense played well the entire game. So, and luckily it didn't come back to haunt us.
It did come back to haunt me with my prize picks, because I had more than 3.5 field goals made. I had more than 3.5 field goals. That would have put me on the more.
Yep.
Doink.
Also, it was funny. You had more for Jimmy. Listen to how funny this is. He had more for Jimmy Garoppolo rushing yards. He had 4.5 yards. Garoppolo at a point yesterday had 6, maybe 7 rushing yards.
He had 7.
7 rushing yards, and because he had to kneel down, he had only 4. And Jeremy goes, "Bro, I didn't hit my prize picks." I was laughing so hard, man. But that's what happens sometimes.
I had hit my last 3 prize picks.
I know. Well, here are my picks for this upcoming week. And again, these will probably change. I'll probably make some changes as we go along. But I do think PrizePicks is a really cool fantasy sports app. And for people who know me, they know like I'm a big-time fantasy football guy at heart. So the fact that we have a fantasy sponsor here, it's a big shout-out to all of y'all. So PrizePicks is daily fantasy sports made easy. You can go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. I've been playing PrizePicks recently, and honestly, I don't know why I ever stopped playing PrizePicks. And I think if you guys want to get started as well, the link's going to be available for y'all down in the comments and down in the description. It's a really, really simple, easy way to play. All you got to do is just pick 2 or more players from any sport. Like, you can do playoff baseball. Like, right now we're watching playoff baseball.
I should have done home runs.
Should have done total bases. You can combine it with different sports. You just pick more or less, and then you choose flex or, like, the power play.
They have a lot of fun plays as well. Like,
yes.
The play last night was like a brother special because it was Anders and Daniel Carlson.
Yeah.
More than 3.5 field goals.
And it didn't happen. It didn't. I thought.
Daniel.
I know. I mean, the one I got just whooped on was Josh Jacobs.
I'm thinking in my head, if Daniel makes that, then there's less, there's more time for stuff to happen throughout. Maybe Jimmy G doesn't kneel. I don't know.
And then you're $200 richer.
You go through everything. In your head.
Dude,
you're like, come on.
That's what makes it fun. So what I'm doing this week, for those that don't know, if you go back to the quarterbacks real quick here, I know I'm taking less on Zach Wilson. He's been really tough to watch. That offense has been struggling. I'm going to take less on C.J. Stroud. That's going up against a really tough defense there in the New Orleans Saints.
Bad pick.
I mean, I believe in the Saints defense, man. I think they're pretty damn legit. And then Russell Wilson more for Thursday Night Football. There's some people that run Raiders YouTube shows that are Saints fans. Yes, not me. Man, we got 422 people here in the building. If you haven't already, click that like button. If your voice sounds like mine, click that like button. We were screaming our freaking heads off last night because, you lose 3 games in a row. You know you have a shot to win, and my, oh my, it felt so good to finally be able to scream just one baby. All right, what up, Alan Cruz? After yesterday, I'm positive we're heading in a good direction. Still can't believe the defense bailed us out, man. How do you explain that? That's hilarious.
It's the Madden.
I mean, I'll tell you this. Robert Spillane, is that the best free agent signing that we've had? I mean, tell me the last time we had a better free agent signing than Robert Spillane. I mean, he's playing out of his mind. Spillane's not only our clear best linebacker. I mean, he's playing at such a high level right now. He's playing like, I'd say, a top 15 linebacker in the NFL, and you got him at a 2-year, $9 million deal. Like, I didn't love the signing. I said that he couldn't cover, and, it's kind of funny. I met Robert's wife now. At the time, it was his fiance down here in Dallas because that's where she lives, and she was like, I hear you're a Raiders fan. My husband, he plays, for the Raiders. I was like, oh, shit, who is it? And she was like, it's Robert Spillane. I go, oh, man, don't watch my video of me saying that was a bad signing. It was a good signing, and he's been a great player. He's been phenomenal on stopping the run, and he's been even more impressive in the coverage game.
Venom says, I sound like a puppy squeaky toy.
Oh, dude, I mean, my voice is awful, and I know it, too.
His mic is turned all the way up right now.
Yeah, like I don't know if you guys can tell, like I am screaming right now. Like if I didn't have the ability with this mic to really, really turn it up, y'all would not hear me very well.
Pump it up.
What up, Tuna? Jenny G and McClown need to go. Probably not going to happen. Thoughts? Unfortunately, you're probably going to be stuck with Jimmy Garoppolo, and you're probably going to be stuck with Josh McDaniels this entire season. And what's kind of funny about it is the Raiders could actually have a winning record at the end of the year. When you really look at this schedule, they absolutely could have a winning record at the end of the season, which is always kind of funny to me. You look at the very beginning of the season, and you're like, man, the Raiders have one of the toughest schedules in the league. And now I'm looking at it, and honestly, it's really not that bad when you consider it. So, the Raiders will be like, oh, well, we had a winning record. We just keep doing what we're doing. But people who are actually watching the games right now are being like, man, the Raiders defense is playing the way that it is, and we're 2-3. We should be 4-1 right now. I mean, you better beat the Patriots. You better beat the Bears. The Lions is a tough game. You can beat the Giants. You can beat the Jets. The Dolphins is obviously a tough game. Week 12 is the Chiefs. Obviously a tough game, but to me, like, you can be 6-6 there. Then you get a whole bye week. Then you play the Minnesota Vikings, who have been really bad. Week 15, Week 16 is Chargers, Chiefs.
I have the next 5
Colts you can beat. The Broncos you can beat. I'm saying, like, to me, I laid out all those games right there. That sounds like 10 wins to me.
I mean, these two right here should be dubs.
I mean, you better win 3. You better win 3 out of your next 5. If you win 3 out of your next 5, you're a 500 football team.
Now, that Jets game has me a little worried because I was talking with our Broncos host, Matthew Peterson. He thinks Breece Hall is a top 3 back in the NFL right now. I watched some of the highlights last night from their game. It's hard to argue.
Oh,
he looked fantastic.
He looks fast. He looks agile. His ability to start, stop, I mean, it's all there. And I would love to see what he could look like with a team that has a good offensive line and a team that had a good quarterback. Because Breece Hall, dude's a baller. So what up, Luis? Any possible chances the Raiders trade for Cousins now that JJ is hurt? Again, I just don't see why the Raiders end up trading for a quarterback. I think if they're going to trade for a QB, they're going to trade for Mac Jones because, that's Josh McDaniels' guy. They already paid Jimmy Garoppolo $33 million this season, so even though Jimmy G has been bad, you're not going to go trade for Kirk Cousins, who also makes somewhere in that $35 million range, plus pay Jimmy Garoppolo to sit on your bench. If you're that disgusted by Garoppolo, again, I would just roll with Aiden O'Connell, but if they wanted to trade for a QB, I do. I think it'd be Mac Jones because I think that they could buy him low. You get him for a 6th-round pick or something like that. That's McDaniels' guy. And that's what they do.
I think I skipped this one. Andrew.
What up, Andrew? I can wear my Jacobs jersey proudly this week. I'll say this, man. You can wear it proudly. You can wear – oh, that's true. Is it number 8 or is it number 28? It's a good question. Man, you should be able to wear your Raiders jersey loud and proud every – get out ball. Get out ball. Get out ball. Is that a home run?
Nope.
Oh, they got the high wall. Oh, my God. He didn't score?
Nope.
That's embarrassing. That's terrible base running right there. Wear your jersey loud and proud, man. Never be embarrassed to wear your Raiders jersey. What up, Raider OG? Jimmy didn't throw the ball more than 15 air yards, Mitch. No use having Tucker. I don't get it. This is frustrating. JJ will continue to struggle. Jacobs is going to continue to struggle. I had people that got really mad at me last week because I said, we talked about some stock up and stock down, and one of the players that I had at stock down was Jacobs, coming off a game where he had 25 touches for 139 yards. But again, you watch this team long enough, you got to understand that defenses simply do not respect Jimmy Garoppolo. And if you think that they do, you're really just lying to yourself. So then you saw him again. Jacobs really struggled to get things going. He found the end zone, which was great, but still 19 carries for 60 yards. He's averaging less than 3.5 yards per carry this season. Sure, he had 5 catches for 20 yards, but when your offense can't do anything, they ran a flea flicker. They ran a flea flicker for 5 yards. They tried to run a flea flicker for 5 yards. Who does that?
I don't know if it was for 5 yards.
They did a flea flicker. It was incomplete, but the ball traveled 5 yards.
Really?
Yes.
I have to go back and watch the play.
It was a 5-yard flea flicker.
I don't know. Let me go back and see that. Hold on.
Was it not? Am I sipping crazy pills here? I know that I was faded last night. There's no doubt about it. I was Dirk Nowitzki at the end of a game, 3-point fadeaway.
I think it was longer than that.
Patrick B., you are correct, Mitch. They ran a 5-yard flea flicker.
It was only for 5 yards.
Well, it fell incomplete, but Garoppolo threw it. What was it? 6 yards? 7 yards? Frito says it was 8 yards. It was less than 10 yards. It's a guarantee. If you're running the flea flicker for less than 10 yards, you just take that play right there and you throw it out the window. It's a horrible play. Venom, I'm with you. It's a horrible play. I've never seen a flea flicker like that. I don't even know if you can call it. What's smaller than a flea? What's smaller than a flea? A dust flicker? It's just brutal. Bro, I don't know where exactly in the game it was. I want to say it was a little bit later in the game.
Yeah.
Jeremy doesn't believe us. Jeremy doesn't believe us.
I don't.
All right, if you want to shout out here on the show, please answer this question right here. Will the Raiders make a trade this year? Why for yes and for no? I do think that a trade, I'm going to say from right now until the NFL trade deadline, I would set trades at 1.5. I would set it at 1.5. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say 2 trades ends up happening. What up, who's Marco? He says, yes. Raider Kiko, yes. John Scheffler, no. Sin Overlord, I hope so. Who's Marco? Yes. Rebel Montana, yes. Venom Sosa, hell yeah. What up, Thermos? Daniel Caps Keenan, yes. Trade for Chase Young. Well, you're going to love the show that I got coming up here in a little bit. Max Crosby to the Detroit Lions from Chrome.
He got out of it.
Don't do that to me.
He got out of it.
Don't do that to me. Cousins should not be a target for the Raiders.
Oh, Sperry.
El Loco Uno says yes. Rodrigo Campos, yes. Big Island, yes. And obviously Jeremy is a very happy individual after the Houston Astros just got out of a big-time pinch. I mean, that tells you what's going to happen here in this game. That tells you everything that you need to know of what's going to happen in this game. If anybody can find the flea flicker play and tweet of that, Jeremy, because he's looking for it right now, and I don't know if he's going to find it. Let's go to Raider OGP. I almost threw my remote when we did the flea flicker. Like, I just look at so many of these other NFL teams and the offenses that they run just seem fun. They seem creative. And then I watch the Raiders try to run some offensive plays, and I'm like, where did we think at any point that these are creative or fun and inspiring plays? Then you see all these other teams with these trick plays, and the Raiders' trick plays, it just looks difficult. Like, you ever just watch a game and you're like, man, it looks tough. It looks like they're trying to do stuff that is just way more complicated or way more bland.
It's like the 49ers, Lions running trick plays. It looks like us trying to do first-grade math. We're just like, 2 + 2, that's 4.
Yep.
3 + 4, that's 7. The Raiders running trick plays is like us trying to figure out trigonometry. We're like, no clue. No clue at all.
I mean, it's a best guess, man. It's kind of frustrating. What up, Chase? Trade for a defensive tackle or see if we can get Devin White. He wanted out this offseason. Spillane and White sounds like a nasty combo at linebacker to me. I mean, again, I think Devin White is a good player overall. It just depends what you want for him. I don't know if I'm going to go out there and spend all that money at the linebacker position. I know that Divine Diablo's had his ups and his downs, but you're going to have to give up a lot for Devin White. And to me, if I'm going to give up a lot for a player, I'm going to give up a lot for an edge rusher, a lot for a defensive tackle before I go out and give up quite a bit for a linebacker. But Devin White is an intriguing name. There's no doubt about it. All right, Jeremy, one thing that we're going to do today, we gave away a lot of money yesterday. I want to kind of do it again here today.
I actually have some exciting news for everybody out there.
Oh, that's right.
I went ahead, I talked with the bosses, I made some things work, I greased up, the wheels of the Chat Sports ladder. I talked to our board of trustees, our board of investors. I was able to get Duck Race Premium.
Oh,
so
man.
we have about 100 different races, and there's a new one that we're dropping today.
Can't wait.
Should I tell them or should we wait?
I mean, we're doing a duck race, but it's not going to be with ducks. We're not ducking around
It's
here.
a different animal.
It's a totally different animal, literally.
$10 to enter, 50-50, whatever the pot is. If it's $100, the winner gets 50. If it's $200, the winner gets 100. $1 million, the winner could win $500,000.
That would be awesome. Brett just looked at me and goes, what is he talking about? Brett, if we get $1 million for 50-50, the winner would go home with $500,000. So that's the goal. I want one stream this year where our prize is $500,000. That's the goal this year. If we do it one time, I think then we might be able to buy the premium for next year. I mean, we might have to.
Primo, $10 million, you would win $5 million.
I mean, who wouldn't want to win $5 million? I don't know. I'm telling you right now. Sounds pretty good, man. That would be kind of an interesting concept, though, if every single time we did a 50-50, we just put like a little bit away for like the big pot at the end of the year. Dude, wild stuff. All right, y'all, if you want in, $10 Venmo at Mitchell Renz 365. I'll be checking my phone accordingly.
Only on Venmo.
Only on Venmo.
It gets confused a lot of the times. People send in super chats. You have to do it on Venmo because that's the only way we can send it back to you. So if you want to get in on the 50-50 raffle.
Yep. Dylan, it is a Raiders show, homie. So if you think that we're scamming people, somebody tell Dylan that he needs to wake up. Dylan, bro, I mean, we're going to talk Raiders football. We're going to give you daily videos all the time.
Venom says You got to try it one day. It's liberating.
If you're upset that we're giving money away, they also actually do 50-50s at Raiders games if you've never been to one.
Scammers.
What up, LC Raider? How about our boy Amik? How do you think he did overall? I mean, honestly, I was very impressed by the way Amik played. And you know what Amik does is that doesn't get enough credit a lot of times
Nate
is...
Hobbs?
Huh?
Nate Hobbs?
Oh, geez. Honestly, it kind of looked like him.
Right?
One thing that you got to give Amik credit for is Amik's a dog, right? Like, Amik is somebody who's going to go out there. He's going to bring that spark. He's going to bring that fire. He brings a lot of energy to that defense. And that interception he had at the end of the game, Amik has shown in years past that he does. He steps up and he can make the big-time play.
He just seems like a guy, even though sometimes, he's not the best corner in the league. He's not the best corner on the Raiders.
Sure.
But he's a guy who always plays with that chip on his shoulder.
And I love that. I love when a guy plays with a chip on his shoulder. And he does. He goes out there with that underdog mindset every single time. And then, yeah. Borelli, bad scammers taking my money unwillingly. Exactly. Send me money. We can dress up Jeremy as a prince.
I literally have it written down just for reporting purposes from yesterday. These are the payouts that we gave people yesterday.
All right, so
Nico
also
won
Yep.
$530. Darla won $670. Nico another $975.
Wait, Nico won twice?
He won twice. You were faded.
Oh, that's wild. Oh, dude, I had a rough night. I'm not gonna lie to you. I woke up this morning and I felt like I got hit by a truck.
All right, Martin.
Also, yeah, Martin, he just hooked you up. Third quarter. That's why Martin's on the Silver and Black Hills, man.
Dude, he's also the one that told me about the Texans signing today.
Oh, really?
Yes. He tweeted at me and goes, yo.
Yo. That's actually hella funny, man. Shout out to Martin for being a real one, man.
Quarter 3, 244. All right, let's look at it.
Borelli said, your boy 180, loving these duck races. I mean, the duck races are a lot of fun. And speaking of which, we got our first person in the duck race. We got Kobe Carson and then Luis Rodriguez. 2 people in right now. All right, so I'm going to message these names to you. We got Kobe Carson, you in, and then Luis Rodriguez, you in. Kobe Carson and Luis Rodriguez both in right now. Coming up here on today's show, we are going to be discussing some trade targets, some trade candidates, and then some 5 burning questions that I have leading into this game against the New England Patriots.
I gotta go to the complete game. I knew I was right. I looked up Raiders versus Packers Week 5 highlights. Of course, it skips that play.
I mean, it wasn't a highlight. I know that. It was a brutal, brutal play. All right, now we got 1, 2, 3, 4 people in. If you want to add me as a friend on Venmo before you send it, totally okay. Tony Garcia, like earlier today, I had somebody message me and they're like, yo, Mitch, I accidentally sent you $25 for a duck race, not 20. Can you send me $5 back? So makes it a little bit easier when that kind of stuff can happen. Patrick B, you in, and then I'm going to call you Osh. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Osh Davis, you're in as well.
Oh, okay, let's see.
What?
Martin sent me the play.
Yeah? You got the play now? I mean, I do not remember it being a very big play. Incomplete flea flicker was 12 yards.
It was 5 yards, though. I don't remember it being...
I mean, now we got Pitt saying 12 yards. Bro, I'm telling you what, it was a pathetic flea flicker. I mean, you want to talk about a letdown. You're thinking handoff, flea flicker.
Maybe it seemed longer because he was like 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Bro, watch it. Oshkosh, worldwide, I got you, brother.
Right, I'm watching it right now. Hold on.
All right, 480 people here. After Jeremy watches this play, we're going to get into our Raiders segments. What did you think?
Okay, watching it now.
What up, Chef? Let's say one last name.
37.
Let's say one last time, excuse me. No one bigger than the Shield.
It was 12 yards.
12 yards. Still, a 12-yard flea flicker.
Good.
What are we talking about here?
Did they run it by the 40-yard line?
Yes. They only run trick plays near the 40.
Last night. McDaniels only runs
I guarantee you this.
does.
It's a
He
fact.
actually does.
If you,
This is hilarious.
it's unbelievable to me. I mean, I've never seen a coach that only runs trick plays at one part of the field.
The other teams know.
If you don't, you're sleeping. I'm going to say right now, since McDaniels has taken over as head coach of the Raiders, I'm going to say 75% of their trick plays have happened 5 yards within the 40-yard line.
Rebel asked where his son was, so.
Hopefully he's home because we don't know where he is. I think that's breaking the law.
No, he said you're his son, so he wanted to know where you were at.
That's weird. We don't look anything like. Someone else.
If you give Marshall,
Someone else banged his girl and said you're the father.
if you gave Marshall a Firestone, that's him. Or no, I guess it'd be if you gave Rebel a Firestone, it'd be Marshall. It's Pokemon.
I used to play Pokemon.
Eevee. So Rebels.
Oh, Rebel says go home.
Yep. All right, what
To
up,
his
Chef?
house.
Let's say it one last time. No one
Come
bigger
home.
than the Shield.
Come home, Marshall.
If you missed your favorite play, go root for that team. Bye, Felicia. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think there was one angry elf in the chat about something. I'm not really sure what it was. But, I mean, it's Victory Tuesday here. I want to have a laid-back show. I want to talk a little Raiders football, and it's all good.
Primo,
What?
go for it. What do you think the animal is going to be today? It's not a duck.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think the animal is going to be today?
Dude, it's not a duck. To be honest, I don't even know what it's going to look like. You told me the animal, but now the possibilities are endless. Like, if there is an animal of a race that you want to see, we can do it. Not only just ducks. I mean, there's
like 100 different races. Not only animals, too. There's, like, monsters.
Characters.
There's holiday-themed ones. There's a Halloween, a Thanksgiving one.
Raptor races from Venom. Maybe someday we can do a dinosaur race now.
Dennis.
What up, Dennis? When is the last time a Raiders corner did not commit a penalty in that situation? Love that he also got the pick.
Zach says Cthulhu. You know what Cthulhu is?
No.
Have you seen, you watch South Park?
Yeah.
That episode where they're all like superheroes and like the weird, huge monster that's like, it's like a weird, huge tentacle-like monster.
No, I don't know.
No.
It's not ringing a bell.
It's whenever Cartman is a Raccoon Man.
Yeah, the one that I remember is like the Dreamland, where like they can go into the Dreamland, and there's like all those animals that, do bad things to you. Dennis, no, I hear you, man. When that ball went up the other day to Amik, I was like, oh shit. Hopefully that doesn't end bad. But it kind of reminds me of, I want to say, what was it, 2 years ago, where he kind of got put in that exact same situation and was able to make a big time play. So Amik has shown that he's been able to shine. They needed it.
If he didn't catch that, if it went through his hands, touchdown.
Yeah, I mean,
he was right behind. The guy was right behind him.
They needed Amik to make a play, and for a guy who's 5'9" to be able to get off the ground like that, I mean, him and Tyler Hall, I thought played. Tyler Hall might have been one of the most unsung heroes from yesterday's game. He played in 30 snaps, got promoted from the practice squad, had to fill big shoes because obviously Nate Hobbs was out. But, I mean, man, oh, man, the Raiders are going to have a tough situation because the way Tyler Hall played, the way that this defense has played over the last 6 quarters, it's going to be hard and challenging not to go away from it because the last 6 quarters, this Raiders defense has been very good. What up, Raider OG? It's true that we need to run. Wait, hang on. It's true that where we run that play, remember Jimmy almost underthrew Adams on a 38-yard flea flicker. It's a weak-ass arm. I do remember that, and that happened very, very early in the season. But it's the truth. When you know that your quarterback doesn't have the ability to throw downfield. Yeah, it was a touchdown, but it was drastically underthrown. And when that happens, when you know that your team can't throw the ball downfield, it makes it a lot easier on the defense. I got another one coming in now from James, and then we will get into our segments here. It's a great win. Coaching was booty cheeks, and offense was vanilla ice cream. But our defense definitely won us that game. Dilly dilly.
Ice Daniels.
Dun, 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 dun.
Ice Daniels.
Dun, 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 dun.
Stop. Collaborate and listen. We're at the 40 to a brand new mission. Gonna run a sweep. not so nicely gonna get tackled by the defense. I don't know. It's a work in progress.
Hey, we'll work on it. We'll work on it. I think that's. I mean, I always think that your ability to do like that type of shit on the fly, it's very impressive. But
will we get a touchdown? Oh no, McDaniels, he's got to go.
no, I mean really, I know that the Raiders won, but still, the offense has been so bad that it's hard to be like, man, this is going to be a great team. Luckily, though, for the Raiders, you have an easy stretch of 5 games. You better win your 4 out of your next 5. Honestly, you should win your 4 out of your next 5. And if you do, well, now you're 6-4. Being 6-4 right before you play the Miami Dolphins and the Kansas City Chiefs is, I think, where you need to be and where I want you to be. Coming up here on the Raiders Report, let's talk about some trade targets because, again, when you consider the fact that it's been reported that the Raiders are looking and considering trading for a player, I do want to put some names out there. We'll also look at some burning questions entering the New England Patriots game. I got 5 of them. And then we got some Raiders trade candidates. If the Raiders are right now calling teams looking for a potential Chandler Jones replacement, but they're thinking about doing player-for-player swaps like it's been reported, well, then I'm going to give you guys the top 5 players most likely to get traded.
If you have some good lyrics to that song for the Raiders, go ahead, message them to me on Twitter at Jeremy Chugs. I'm going to put together a song for you.
Yeah?
Ice Daniels. Dun, 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 dun. Ice Daniels.
Do we have to get a dolphin costume too? All right, y'all. Again, I'm going to power through this show to the best of my ability. Obviously, my voice sounds awful, but sometimes that's going to happen, and I will gladly have a horrible sounding voice if it means that every single Tuesday or Monday I wake up, the Raiders have an extra win.
One more thing before we start.
I'm listening.
There's 470 people in the chat. Can we get 470 bonks in the chat? You'll know why here in about 30 seconds. Can we get 470 bonks in the chat? Just bonk, 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 bonk. Because I already know there's going to be some comments here in about 30 seconds.
Yep.
So can we just get them already? Patrick B says, no, bonk.
Bonk.
Yeah, bonk. Daniel Capskinen, bonk.
He's thinking all baseball.
Yeah, B-O-N-K. Just get 470 bonks. I'm going to get ahead of it because I already know the comments are going to be coming. Give me the bonks in the chat right now.
Yeah, Jeremy did. He was building the show here, and he got creative.
A good photo.
He got creative. Let's just say that. All right, coming up right now, some Raiders trade targets here on the Raiders Report. Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report. And coming up on today's show, we're going to be looking at some Raiders trade targets before the NFL trade deadline. It was reported by NFL insider Deanna Rossini that the Raiders have been making calls and that they have been looking to potentially add a Chandler Jones replacement. And let's face the facts here. The Raiders need to be able to add somebody next to Max Crosby. They need to be able to go out and get somebody that they have a lot of confidence in that can get after the quarterback. The reason why the Raiders defense had success this past game is because they had 17 total pressures on Jordan Love and 3 interceptions. I see some people down in the comments. They just want me to stay on this screen and this screen alone. If I do that, you're going to have a different kind of a hard pause. We're going to keep this show rolling here, though. We got Diana Rossini again. This is what she had to say on the Raiders trade rumors. The Raiders have been busy making calls around the league, looking for a pass rusher since releasing Chandler Jones. They are looking for a player-for-player swap and may not want to give up too much. So as soon as I saw that report come out there, obviously my mindset goes, all right, well, let's think about some players that the Raiders could potentially look out and get. Now, if you don't know, the NFL trade deadline is October 31st at 4 p.m. Eastern time, which Jeremy and I, we're going to be live on this day, Halloween. We're going to be getting spooky. Games until then, you got New England, you got at Chicago, you have at Detroit on Monday Night Football. And to me, this Raiders team is a team where I get it. A lot of people might not believe in Josh McDaniels, but you know what? He wants to be the head coach of this team, and if you want to be the head coach, you might have to be a buyer at the deadline. So if the Raiders are looking to do player-for-player trades, I got some candidates coming up. Here's the thing. I never know what Josh McDaniels is going to do. You never know what Dave Ziegler is going to do. That is one of the good and one of the bad things about this organization. But I do know this, that the Raiders, if they make a trade, I will be going live, especially if they make a deal like I have here with my fingers crossed, because some of these names would really, really help out the defensive side of the football. So the first name coming up here, and I don't have these ranked in any particular order. It's more of just names that I am going to throw out there. I will admit, not every single one of these players is a player that I want the Raiders to trade for. One of the names is a name that I think that they could potentially consider. Let's first, though, go. I know a lot of people want defensive tackle. I have been screaming from the rooftops for weeks at this point that you got to go out and trade for Milton Williams, defensive tackle for the Philadelphia Eagles. He's 6'3", he's 290 pounds, and the reason is he's buried on that depth chart. Like, this is a Philadelphia Eagles team that knows they have a lot of talent. Hell, another name that I probably could have added to the show from Philly was Derek Barnett, an older edge rusher, and if you needed to be able to add somebody, you can do it. This season, according to PFF, he has played in 142 snaps. Again, he has shined, and he has not been the best DT on that team because they have Fletcher Cox. They have Jordan Davis. They have a lot of really solid talent there and in this room. And Williams, to me, my pitch to him is, hey, man, you want to be the best defensive tackle on the Raiders? You want to be the best defensive tackle here? Potentially keeps you around, gets you a bigger payday next season when he becomes a free agent. That's really intriguing to me. 74.0 run defense grade, 60.9 overall. He would be your best defensive tackle, and if you can upgrade your defensive line, let's face it, to me, the Raiders are crazy for not doing that. So what I want you to do right now is go down in the comment section. This will actually be the hard pause that you guys are going to get. And you're about to get hit with the YouTube ad break, so I want you to scroll on down right now, and I want you to give me one player that the Raiders should trade for. Let me know down in the comments. All right, let's go to the next name here. It's Lawrence Guy, and this is the name that I was referring to earlier in the show where I said, I got to put somebody on here that, you know, I don't really want the Raiders to trade for him, but in terms of the overall likelihood, I do think Guy is a guy that the Raiders would consider. Obviously, they have the New England Patriot connections there. The Patriots are a losing team, and a lot of the times, like, I'm going to look for teams that are struggling or teams that have too much at a certain position. Eagles have too much on the defensive line. The Patriots currently are 1-4, and they look like an absolute dumpster fire. Bill Belichick, after the game, said that, you know, we might have to reconsider a few things. And this season, Lawrence has been bad. He has 179 snaps. You can see the grades up there on screen. But to me, this is a trade that I could see the Raiders potentially pulling off before their Week 6 game against the Patriots. I mean, that is the ultimate McDaniels and Ziegler trying to play chess when everyone else is trying to play checkers. That's what they do. You go out, you trade for a player. You probably swap 6s and 7s because that just seems to be the most popular deal that teams do anymore. You trade for Lawrence Guy, you add a defensive tackle to your group, and now you're getting ready then to go up against the Patriots in a game that can put you at 3-3. Something to at least consider. Also, something that I want you all to consider is getting started with our awesome sponsor here, PrizePicks. Fantasy sports made easy, and I'm telling y'all, you're going to absolutely fall in love once you get started. So PrizePicks is the most fun that I've had, winning up to 25 times my money this football season. You just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projected stats, and place an entry. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what make PrizePicks the #1 daily sports app. So what I'm doing this upcoming week is on Thursday Night Football when Chugs and I are live, I'm taking the more on Russell Wilson because, honestly, their offense has been able to move the football, and I anticipate that they're going to be losing to the Kansas City Chiefs. C.J. Stroud, he's been playing well. I know Chugs is a big fan of Stroud. I'm going to take less there because the Saints have one of the best defenses in the league. And then Zach Wilson, he's been booty cheeks, and I'm just going to take the less on him as well. So if you want to play, all you got to do is go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Those links are going to be available to you all down in the comments and down in the description of today's show. I've been playing PrizePicks, and I promise y'all, you guys are going to have a lot of fun, though Jeremy's a little bit mad because he had Jimmy Garoppolo on Monday Night Football, 4.5 rushing yards, took the more on it, was at 6, maybe 7 yards, and after 2 kneels, ended up losing. Sometimes that's what happens. Shout out to PrizePicks for sponsoring the show. All right, Jeremy, next name here is probably the name that's going to get a lot of attention. It's Brian Burns, and the way that I'm going to do these next names is in a sense of your first option, if you're the Raiders and you're like, all right, I want to replace Chandler Jones, the top name that you got to go out and try to get at the edge position, to me, in my opinion, is in fact Brian Burns. He's got 18 tackles this season, 4 sacks. The Carolina Panthers are the worst team in the National Football League, and because they are 0-5, they don't have a first-round pick because, remember, they traded away that pick to the Chicago Bears. So if I'm Carolina, I'm like, man, I'm really terrible this season. And on top of that, I don't have a first-rounder. Now, if you want Brian Burns, you will have to give up a first-round pick. There was reports last offseason that Carolina apparently turned down 2 first-rounders. You're not going to get 2 first-rounders on a team that is that bad. But I do think that you got to pick up the phone and at least see what it is, because sometimes when teams are in that fire sale mode and they just want to get rid of players, Brian Burns is definitely a name to keep in mind, and you put him next to Max Crosby, it would be intriguing. I'll say this, though. If I'm Las Vegas, I do everything in my power to make sure that I still have a first-round pick, because even though the schedule is easy and even though that I am hoping that the Raiders do win some football games, there's always that slight chance that the Raiders could be bad this season and really bad, and you don't want to miss out on the opportunity to get a guy potentially like a Caleb Williams, a guy like a Drake May, a quarterback that can totally change your entire team. All right, those are our top 3 names here. Let's go to another name, and this is one that's very intriguing to me. It's Danielle Hunter, and I know a few people inside of that Raiders organization, and this is a name that continuously is brought up to me as a name to keep an eye on in terms of, if you were to ask me, Mitch, who would be the biggest name defensive end that the Raiders traded for in terms of the likeliness, I would say Danielle Hunter. He's got 25 tackles, 6 sacks. The Minnesota Vikings have been really struggling this season, and you know that he's not going to be back next year, so could you potentially get something for him? Because it looks like right now Minnesota's about to do a full rebuild. You got your top receiver in Justin Jefferson. They don't know if they're going to pay him. He's hurt right now. Kirk Cousins is not coming back, so if you know that you're about to do a full rebuild, why not look at Danielle Hunter, who, sure, hasn't been as great as what he's been in years past, but when this guy's fully healthy, and if you were to put him on this defense next to Crosby, that helps out. On top of that, you have the connections. Kennedy Palomalo was the old coach in Minnesota just in terms of the overall, what am I thinking of? He was the running back coach in Minnesota. On top of that, remember, Brian Flores was with Minnesota. So you have Brian Flores, the connection there. Danielle Hunter, I've seen enough, and this is the top guy to me if the Raiders make a big-time trade to keep an eye on. If you want to always interact with me down in the comments, I appreciate it. I do this show because I want Raider Nation to have a voice. So what do you think is the bigger need? If you could only make one trade for the defensive side of the football, and I know some of y'all are probably going to be like, Mitch, we're talking about trade targets. The defense has been playing well. Why aren't we targeting guys on the offense? Because to me, the offense isn't going to change as long as you have Jimmy Garoppolo at QB. So let's really try to improve our defense even more. Would you trade for a defensive tackle, or would you trade for an edge rusher? Type D for DT, type E for edge. Let's go to another edge here. It's Chase Young. I mean, this guy's battled a lot of different types of injuries in his young career in the NFL, but when he's on the field, there's no denying what he can do. 11 tackles, 3 sacks, 3 tackles for a loss. The other thing that I like that he has the ability to do is you can line him up because he's just that strong of an athlete. You can line him up at DT. You can line him up at defensive end, and he has struggled a little bit with the Commanders in terms of stopping the run. But his ability to get after the quarterback, he's always had that since coming out of Ohio State. This season, 217 snaps, the pass rush grade there at 82.7, the overall grade of 72.1. I will admit, one of the better defensive lines in football. Now, they have suffered some injuries this season, but one of the better defensive lines in football is, in fact, the Commanders. And when you see tweets from like Magic Johnson out there kind of roasting Ron Rivera, that's another team that could go into a full sale fire mode. And if you're able to get Chase Young for a second-round pick right now, I think teams are going to consider it. I think that the Commanders still would probably want more. But, again, if you're just going to sell, maybe it's the time to buy. Let's go to the final name. This is going to be the one that I know that a lot of people are going to be like, holy shit. It's Leonard Williams. And I talked to a source with the New York Giants this morning, and they said Leonard Williams is 100% available. And the reason why is the Giants are obviously a bad football team. On top of that, he's in the final year of his deal. If the Giants are in a spot where they paid Daniel Jones all that money and they don't know if they're going to bring back Leonard Williams, now's your opportunity to make a deal and get the absolute most for him as it stands. On top of that, the best season that Leonard Williams has ever had, the best season, guess who he had as defensive coordinator? Patrick Graham. And if you're telling me right now that you wouldn't want to bring Leonard Williams, a USC guy, back over to the West Coast, I know Raider fans love him. I think he'd be a phenomenal fit with this defense. He knows Patrick Graham. He has had success in Patrick Graham's system. He can get after the quarterback. I know his run grades here, according to PFF, have been struggling, but the New York Giants have been struggling. That defense has been on the field more than anybody. And if I want to make a really, really crazy splash on defense, I think calling up a guy like Leonard Williams right now and getting a deal done, I mean, my Giants source said 4th-round pick. If I can get a 4th-round pick and I can get Leonard Williams, tell me where I sign up. So here was my Raiders trade targets at defensive tackle. It's Milton Williams, and then I think Lawrence Guy's just on here because he's a guy that I could see McDaniels and Ziegler picking up the phone and giving a call. If you want to go big-time splash, it's Brian Burns, it's Danielle Hunter, it's Chase Young, it's Leonard Williams. You need to be able to show your team, you need to be able to show your fan base that you're still in all-in mode, because the last few times that you have been on TV, the last few home games, it hasn't been more Raider fans there. Mark, if you want to flip that script, if you want to get more silver and black in the stands, now's your chance to do it. You're going to be on Monday Night Football again in Week 8 in Detroit, and if you don't want to be embarrassed there, I think you got to pull the pin here and get a big-time deal, because then your next primetime game is after the NFL trade deadline, Week 10, Sunday Night Football, and I think Jeremy Chuggs and I are going to be there. All right, y'all, predict the Raiders' record this season. Let me know down in the comments.
Bonk. I saw the comments. Bonk, bonk, bonk.
I mean, you warned them. You definitely warned them. You know what? Let me change my jersey here real quick. I want to put on a different one, and I don't even want to be up on screen by myself next to...
Taking your shirt off?
Next to Diana. Yeah, I don't... I'm just being real. I got to change my jersey.
I told you. Bonk to all of you. Bonk, bonk, bonk. Predict the Raiders' record this season. Go ahead, let me know. Predict the Raiders' record this season. Yep. Venom Sosa, bonk. I saw it. Juan Hernandez, bonk to you as well. 10-7, 10-7, 10-7, 8-9, 5-12, 8-9, 5-12, 9-8, 12-5. Martin, okay. Let's see it. Martin went ahead and sent me some lyrics.
All right. Martin's actually also, I shouldn't say actually, Martin's also very creative. He's very, very creative. Also, for those that don't know, I made a video earlier today. I put it on the YouTube channel. It was a short about the Raiders corner that they signed to the practice squad. They signed Cornell Armstrong. He was a 6th-round pick in 2018, played on some practice squads, but most recently was with the Atlanta Falcons in 2022, where he actually was able to get 22 tackles, 7 pass breakups. And with that, the Raiders, they released Rajon Wright and wide receiver Marcus Callaway from the practice squad. So moved on from 2 dudes and then added Cornell Armstrong, which I actually like as it's a good player to have at corner on your practice squad. Blue Richard says 9-8. Diehard Raider fans going to go 9-8.
You ready for this?
Rebel F Tankin, what am I ready for?
These Martin lyrics.
I'm ready for the Martin lyrics. Hit me.
Yo, 1st and goal. Let's kick it. Dun 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 dun. Dun. LV baby. Dun 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 dun. LV baby. All right, stop. Collaborate and listen. Josh and Dave have a brand new convention. Jimmy G has an arm like a noodle. Throws like my mom throws a toys for a poodle. Will we ever win? Yo, I don't know. Dr. QB. Faux show. To the extreme, I rep LV like a real one. Bleeding silver and black like a religion. Ice, ice, baby.
I love it.
Martin
with the...
Love it.
With the lyrics. Also, Martin sent us a audio recording of him doing the you could save 15% more on car
Here we
insurance.
go. Ready?
It sounds just like here. Yeah. This is Martin. If you get it.
Oh wait.
Oh.
Got it. Maybe I should turn up my volume.
That'll help. I've noticed when you turn up the volume. All right.
All
Yeah.
right, this is Martin.
You want me to put it on my mic?
I got it. You ready?
Yeah.
Hey, Jeremy. Just 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
If you don't know what Martin sounds like, now you know. Now you know. Shout out to Martin for being a real one, man.
Just 15%. Save you.
What up,
15
Rebel?
Minutes could save you 15% more on car insurance.
What's up, Rebel? Yeah, I know. That's actually Martin. He sent that to us.
Did y'all hear it?
There's no way they didn't hear it. Now every time they see the Geico Gecko, they're just going to think of Martin.
Martin.
Yeah. I know I do.
I feel like Martin is related to the Geico Gecko.
What if we find out that Martin is the Geico Gecko?
Dude.
Like 20 years down the road, you just find out that Martin is the Geico Gecko. And then you realize that his dad was the You've Got Mail guy. Dude, that would be crazy.
You might have heard my dad, EA Sports. It's in the game.
Oh, that's iconic, man. That's iconic.
All right. We're going to get into our next segment, but just a reminder for the people that are joining us a little late,
Yep.
we do have a duck race at the end of the day's show, $10 duck race to get in.
I'm gonna go grab a little bit more tea for my throat, so just hold down the
throat
fort
tea?
here. Yeah.
Yeah, struggling. Hey, actually, it actually helps. Is it hot tea? Drop a cough drop in it. I'm not even kidding. Don't do it, brother. Brother. All right. We already have, I believe, Mitch has sent me 7 names for the duck race. Astros get out of the inning. Let's go. Astros up 4-3 at the end of the 3rd inning. Come on. I know everybody in here is rooting for the Astros just as hard as I am. Or 4-0 at the end of the 3rd inning. Chug's shirt looking like Ice Spice hair. That's a good one. Big Island, no way, Chugs. Arturo, Michael Renz, and Jeremy Chugs.
I always laugh at the amount of people that call me Michael Renz.
Dude, did you just see that?
What?
Sponsor, I'm not even kidding you, I wish I could rewind it for a second. Sponsor of the MLB playoffs.
Geico?
Geico. It was just Geico plus MLB. Dude, they're listening. They're
Dude,
listening
they
to
know.
us. They know right now.
They know.
It's Martin back there, and he's pressing the buttons.
Dude. Venom says, isn't it Mitchell? Yes. I think it's funny the amount of people that call me Michael because, one, my name is Mitchell Renz 365 everywhere. I have a name badge underneath me. I always have a name badge on me. But I get it, though. I also can't pronounce names, so I guess.
The amount of Jeremy Jugs I get, or Jeremy Chubbs.
Jeremy Chubbs
It's either Jugs or Chubbs.
Yo, Chubbs.
Hey, why do they call you Chubbs?
Hey, they don't. What up, man? We got 480 here in the building.
You're Chubbs, right?
480 here in the building. Let's go to the next segment coming up here on the show, which is going to
Only
be.
my fiance can call me Chubbs.
Or Diana Rossini. Either one's fine.
Dude, Diana can call me whatever she wants.
Yeah? Okay. Fair enough. Diana, if you're watching, I'm sorry.
I just unlocked a whole new world for 480 people in the chat right now.
A whole new world. Well, now she works at The Athletic.
Martin's like, Diana Rossini.
Yeah. Now she works at The Athletic. All right, coming up here is going to be 5 burning Raiders questions entering their Week 6 game against the
She
Patriots.
is athletic.
Here we go. Coming up in 3, 2, 1. Let's get it. Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report. And coming up, I got 5 burning Raiders questions entering their Week 6 game against the New England Patriots. I mean, let's face it. After a big-time win on Monday Night Football against the Green Bay Packers, where we got to win 17-13, there's a lot of Raider fans still wondering. And to me, the 5 questions that you're about to see here are the top 5 trending questions that are circulating right now in Raider Nation's mind. The first one to me is, will Jimmy Garoppolo clean it up this season? Because Jimmy G was a QB that I never expected to go out there and throw for 300 yards. He was never a QB that I expected to go out there and sling for 30 touchdowns. But you know what I did expect from Jimmy G? Clean football. I expected him to not turn it over. I expected him to be able to get our running game going. I expected him to be able to do everything that it takes to execute a Josh McDaniels offense, because that's what McDaniels wanted, right? He wanted his quarterback to be able to fit his system. The problem is right now, it looks like this offense, Jimmy Garoppolo looks like a total square, and they're trying to fit him into a triangle hole. It is super frustrating to watch Jimmy Garoppolo and Josh McDaniels try to get this offense together. But here's the breaking news. The Raiders can win football games. The way that their defense is played, they can win a lot more. And honestly, the fact that they're only 2-3 right now, considering the fact of how well this defense is played, that falls on this guy right here. It falls on the shoulders of Jimmy Garoppolo. It falls on your shoulders of your head coach. Jimmy, you lead the NFL in interceptions right now, and you even missed a game. If you don't clean it up, I don't know how the Raiders can continue to throw out noodle arm Garoppolo, because he is really hard to watch. And I ripped on DC last year, and I've always said that DC's not a top 10 QB. He's not a top 15 QB. Well, I'm going to look at all y'all in the eyes right now and tell you, Jimmy Garoppolo is not a top 10, not top 15, not top 20. I don't think Jimmy G is a top 25 quarterback in the NFL the way that he has played this season. And it sucks because this team has so much talent offensively. The problem? Right here, and the head coach. So my question to you right now is this. Garoppolo has 7 interceptions. How many INTs will Jimmy G throw this season? This is going to be the pinned comment. This is going to be the top question that I want every single person that comes across this show to answer. I hope that it's 14 or less. And it needs to be 14 or less. Because right now where he's trending for over 30 interceptions. And if that happens, the Raiders will not win many football games. Let's go to question number 2 here on the show. Will Josh McDaniels unlock this Raiders offense? You got Devontae Adams. You got Jacoby Myers. You got Michael Mayer, Hunter Renfrow, Trey Tucker. Right now your offensive line's been playing pretty damn solid as well. And you got one of the best running backs in the league in Josh Jacobs. And as it stands, you have one of the worst offenses in the entire league. When the Raiders hired Josh McDaniels, they were expecting him to be able to get this offense going. When you consider the fact of how much money they had this offseason in the draft and in free agency, and how much money they dedicated to the offensive side of the football, I mean, I was expecting a top 10 offense at worst. You're telling me right now, with all the weapons that I just mentioned to you, our total yards, we are 29th in the league. Passing yards per game, 17th. Rushing yards per game, last. Points per game, tied for 30th. And then giveaways, second to last. This Raiders team offensively is really, really difficult to watch. And it's difficult to watch because you got a quarterback that can't throw the football further than 40 yards. And then you got an offensive-minded guru who thinks that he's got this God complex and just thinks that everything that he does is the smartest thing out there. Here's the problem. The offense will not get better unless you start doing some different things with your play calling, because the play calling right now for McDaniels, it sucks to watch. It is a brutal, brutal offense. It kind of reminds me, I'm not going to lie to you, I've gone out and watched some high school football games, and I've been watching a little bit more college this season. It looks like a bad college offense. It looks like an offense that a team like Northwestern would run. It looks like an offense that a Big Ten school would run, like Iowa. It sucks. It looks like a shitty college offense, and that's what McDaniel's going out there. You got to be more creative. You got to mix it up, because if you're going to sit there and run plain chicken type of team or a plain chicken style of recipe, and then you have a quarterback like Jimmy Garoppolo who's got no seasoning himself, you're going to drive this fan base nuts, especially because of how well this defense has played, especially because people didn't want Josh McDaniels. People didn't want Jimmy Garoppolo. You're supposed to be the offensive guru. It's time to wake it the hell up. And now you're going up against your old team, so you better do it this week. Speaking of seasoning, I love Factor meals, man. This food tastes incredible, and this place, man, saved my booty after our Monday Night Football game because I got home, had a few drinks in me, and, man, I needed something healthy, and I needed something quick and easy, and luckily, I had a Factor meal waiting for me when I got home. So if you guys haven't already, if you've never started, go to factormeals.com/RaidersChat50 and use code RaidersChat50 to get 50% off. This October, get Factor and enjoy eating well without the hassle. Simply choose your meals and enjoy fresh, flavor-packed meals delivered to your door. Ready in just 2 minutes, no prep, no mess. That's code RaidersChat50 at factormeals.com/RaidersChat50 to get 50% off. What I love about these meals is you can pick your pre-made meals. You get a bunch of different selections, and like it is October. I am a total basic Mitch. I'm going to be honest with you guys. And when it's the fall, I like to eat food that's got pumpkin in. I like to eat fall-based stuff, and that's what Factor does. Like you can get different meals every single month, every single season. It makes it super fresh and easy to do. So again, the link's going to be available to you guys down in the comments and in the description. It's factormeals.com/RaidersChat50. Let's go to my third burning question here. Have Tyler Hall and Amik Robertson earned more playing time? I know that Raider fans were nervous, and I'm still nervous because I don't know what's going to happen with Nate Hobbs. And, you know, I do really, truly believe that a lot of Raider fans love Nate Hobbs, but you also have to be able to consider it from the other side of it where Hobbs has never really been able to stay healthy throughout the majority of the season. Think about how much Raider fans ripped on Jimmy G. No, Jimmy G can't stay healthy. I mean, Nate Hobbs is starting to get in that exact same conversation where you know that he can be a good player, but if you don't have availability, you know, you're not going to have chemistry. And over the last 6 quarters that I have seen this team play, they've played really, really good football. And, you know, the Raiders' defense was phenomenal against the Packers. I mean, when you give up only 13 points, they had a lot of pressure. But one of the guys that's not getting nearly enough credit is Tyler Hall. He had an overall grade of 85.4, a run defense grade of 64.4. He tackled well at 77.8, and then it's that coverage grade, 87.0. This was a player that they loved, that they re-signed in the middle of last season, and he's been on the practice squad. He got promoted this past week. He stepped up big time, and I mean big time for Nate Hobbs, and what more could you ask for? I mean, I'm telling you right now, dude played 30 snaps. He deserves to play 30 more snaps. The way that this Raiders defense is played, Tyler Hall deserves more snaps. I don't think that that's very hard to argue. Another guy that to me deserves more snaps is Amik Robertson. 4 tackles, the big game-sealing interception, and the pass breakup. But what I love about Amik, and I think guys like Amik help out a defense. They help out a locker room because he's contagious. He's the dude that he's going to go out there. He has that chip on his shoulder. He goes out there and he's a dog. And you know what? Sometimes you need some dogs in your locker room. Sometimes you need a few dogs out on the field, and that's what Amik is. He's not a very tall player, and once in a while he's going to get beat because he doesn't have the physical gifts. But you know what Amik has that does not get put out there on a stat sheet? Something that Amik has that simply not a lot of players have, and it's what makes guys different: a heart. And Amik's got the biggest freaking heart on that Raiders defense, and when he goes out there and plays, he gives you 110%, and he did that yet again. And I think that's one of those little details. If you're wondering why has this Raiders defense really turned it up over the past 2 games, here you go. His name's Amik Robertson, and to me, he does deserve a lot more playing time. But when you talk about Amik, when you talk about Tyler Hall, to me, the number one name that comes to my mind, and he was inactive this past week, still battling a little bit of an injury, and that's just what it is. McDaniels has not really talked about it much, but he missed this past game more because Jacorian's been battling a little bit of an injury. But what's your confidence level in Bennett, the rookie out of Maryland? He's been getting the starts, but to me, Tyler Hall's outplayed him. Amik Robertson's outplayed him, and I get it. There's going to be some ups and downs as a rookie, and that's going to come. But right now, you have an opportunity to go back to 500 here. And if Jacorian Bennett's healthy, I'm sorry, I feel more confident right now in Amik Robertson. I feel more confident in Tyler Hall, and Jacorian's going to get his time. At least that's the hope. But right now, if you're answering this scale to 1 to 10, and if, in my opinion, if it's 4 or below, you got to keep rolling out there with Tyler Hall. You got to keep rolling out there with the guys who have helped your defense look really, really good. For me personally, I am right now. I'm at about a 4 with Ja'Cory and Bennett, but it's more because I believe in what Tyler Hall and Amik Robertson did, and I believe if guys are out there playing their dick off, you go out there and you put them in the game a little bit more. Let's go to question number 4 here. Are the Raiders going to trade or sign an edge to replace Chandler Jones? There's been some reports out there from Deanna Rossini that says that the Raiders have made some phone calls that they potentially could do a player-for-player type of trade, and they need to add another guy to replace Chandler Jones. You can't expect a guy like Jones to make the impact on your team and then not try to replace him at all. Now, if you follow Chandler on Twitter, he still thinks that he plays for the Raiders, and he still thinks that he has a shot to come back to play for the Raiders. Here's the thing. Chandler Jones is never going to play in the NFL again. He's done, and I don't want people to ask me if they should bring him back. The answer is no. He should never play in the NFL again. Here are some trade targets, though, that the Raiders could look at if you want to go out and add somebody on the defensive line, whether it be defensive tackle or defensive end. I know some big names out there like a Brian Burns, Daniil Hunter, Chase Young, Leonard Williams, man. You make a trade like that, man, we are going live for a very, very long time. And then there's some other free agent targets out there. To me, the top 3 names, if you really want to replace Chandler Jones, Melvin Ingram, Carlos Dunlap, and Robert Quinn. I'm actually pretty surprised that both Melvin Ingram and Carlos Dunlap are still out there on the free agency wire because they could help out multiple teams. And if I'm the Raiders, you have connections with Melvin Ingram, Carlos Dunlap, and Ingram, both have played in the AFC West. Robert Quinn has worked with Champ Kelly before. I don't understand why these phone calls haven't been made because the Raiders could use these guys. Yes, Malcolm Kuntz has stepped up. Yes, I think Tyree Wilson deserves a lot more credit than what he's getting, but you still need to be able to go out and add an edge. The final burning question here on the Raiders Report, sponsored by Factor, is Thayer Munford going to be the new Raiders starting right tackle? And I know yesterday, Jermaine Illuminor, there was a sack that happened on Jimmy Garoppolo, and then Illuminor ended up going to the bench. I want to say that he played in maybe like 16, 17 snaps. It happened a little bit early on in this season. When you look at the numbers, I mean, Illuminor has struggled. I mean, that's my guy right there, and I'm not afraid to, call him out. And I guarantee you this, if Illuminor was up on the show right now, hopefully he'd have a little bit more clothes on than when he had his interview here. But he would even look at the camera and say, I need to clean it up. He wanted to clean up the penalties. He's got 2 this season. He's given up 5 sacks. Again, most of them came against Khalil Mack and the Los Angeles Chargers, but Jermaine Illuminor needs to clean it up. So what did I do today? Today, I texted Jermaine, and I asked him, hey, man, what's the lowdown here? And I said, what's going on? Are you hurt? Are you getting benched? What happened? And he told me that the only reason why he got put on the bench was because that he's a little bit banged up. And I quote, I'll be Gucci for Sunday. Also, talking to Jermaine, he was very motivated. I mean, he's going up against his old team. Remember, he was a New England Patriot. He wants to beat those guys, and if he's 100% healthy, from what I understand from my conversation with Jermaine today, the expectation is Jermaine Illuminor will still be the right tackle. However, and this is, the hard part about family, Jermaine, he's probably my best friend that's on that Raiders team right now. But if Thayer Munford gives you a better chance to win, the Raiders have to consider putting their younger player out there, and he's played well as well. 87 snaps, an overall grade of 73.5, a pass blocking grade of 65.3, and a run blocking grade of 73.2. I'll also say, Jermaine was the highest graded player on the Las Vegas Raiders from yesterday on offense. So, Jermaine, I thought played well when he was in the game. Yeah, he had that bad sack, which kind of, led to him getting, at the time, I thought he got benched. I didn't realize that he's been battling an injury, but he's been battling this little bit of a nagging injury for quite some time. I know a few weeks ago I talked about it as well. Will he miss the Week 1 game? He's okay. He expects to go out there and play. And as it stands right now, according to Jermaine Illuminor, he still anticipates to be the starting right tackle for the Raiders when they play the New England Patriots on Sunday. If you want to stay up to date with even more around the Raiders, Twitter, Instagram, I'm at Mitchell Renz 365. I do my best here to make sure that you guys know everything that's going on with this team. This is a family to me. This is a lot more than just a YouTube channel. This is an amazing community that we've been able to build, and the only way that continues to grow and grow is with the entire nation there. So if you feel like hey, you need more information, tell your friends, tell your family members. I know this guy, Mitchell Renz, he's good on YouTube, but he's also a good follow as well for social media. You're unbelievable. One word to describe the Raiders season, roller coaster. You give some shout-outs. I got to change my jersey here.
All right.
One word to describe the Raiders season.
Mitch has got to change his. What are you doing with that Diana Rossini pick? One word to describe the Raiders this season. Roller coaster is a good one. God. Disappointed, expected, anxiety is a great one. Anxiety is a great one. Turbulence, that's another great one. Norm, made in China, unpredictable, disappointing, scary, spooky, scary, decent, booty, garbage. Yeah, the opposite of Diana Rossini. Not good.
Oh, man. And we're back.
Frustrating. McDoodled.
McDoodle.
Not loving it.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
One word, fire Josh McDaniels. Corn, derp, weak. Deja vu. Circus.
We'll see.
Skeptical. Weak.
Also, got an extra person here in this duck race.
McFusair.
Moses.
Oh.
Moses is in. Remember, y'all, if you want to enter our 50-50 raffle, $10 to enter at Mitchell Renz 365 is how you get in. We got 8 people in right now.
Winner gets $40.
Winner gets $40 right now. If you guys want in on the action, $10 Venmo, add me as a friend. You can get out your phone. You can scan that QR code, and we're going to do it at the very, very end of today's show. At the end of today's show. Martin, won't Moses just part the water? Here's the thing, Martin. No water in this race.
Yeah, it's a different animal.
Different animal. No water.
What animal do you think it is? I don't even think I've seen the correct animal yet in the chat, which is surprising.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think I can't wait to see all the other races that we can do.
Dude, I'm excited for the holiday races.
The holiday races will be pretty legit. Thursday night football this week, Chugs, we got to do some like outlandish races. Like what's like the most crazy things that we can find. I wonder if you could do like your own, like you create like a logo or something like that.
I think you can.
Yeah?
Just race Diana Rossini's.
No. I was thinking more like Chugs. We just race a bunch of Chugs heads. Rick says dinosaur. There are dinosaurs, but that's not the race for today. It will happen sooner or later, though. That I can promise you.
Can we at one point race Diana Rossini's?
No. I don't think that that's a good idea. I don't think so.
A bunch of Diana Rossini's.
I mean, I feel like if we're going to do that, we got to... I almost feel like I have to get her permission to do that. I'll tweet at her. Do you mind if we race a bunch of U's? I mean, that would be the most confusing tweet of all time. I'd probably get blocked for that.
You can DM her because you have the check.
Well, it doesn't always mean that you can DM her. Get out, ball.
Brady bomb! Boom! Astros up 5-0. So the Astros gonna win, yeah?
They look pretty good right now.
Oh, no. Somebody told me Sonny Gray was going to have a good game. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
This is the Astros' home.
Oh, boy. I mean, that ball, that was high in the air.
Ooh.
Didn't know if that one was going to go out. Sonny Gray, man, struggling.
Oh, my God.
Really struggling.
More like cloudy gray.
Yeah, he's not a happy camper, and I don't blame him. You're all hyped up for a big-time playoff start, and this is what you're doing. It's brutal. It's brutal. All right, Jeremy, we got one more segment to do. One more segment to do here on the show, and it's about trade candidates, because obviously if we're talking about player-for-player swaps, I do think now it's important to talk about the top 5 players, in my opinion, that the Raiders could potentially move on from. So that's what we're going to do right now. You just want? We could probably just do the whole show.
Oh, here we go.
Another extra base hit
Into the corner.
on an 0-2 count.
Jordan Alvarez.
I mean, you're 0-2 and you're going to throw that?
Stand-up double.
He's throwing meatballs. Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
We want a pitcher, not a belly itcher.
Those, I'm definitely hungover, but it's honestly more my voice.
Oh, my goodness.
My voice is hurting. Matthew, you in? All right, we got another guy in the duck race here. Matthew Chase. We're going to call you Matthew Chase. You in? I believe now that gives us 9 people. So winner
get $45.
45 doll hairs
Nick, go Las Vegas A's.
in 2092.
I'll promise this. When they move to Vegas, the A's will be my second team. I'll get an A's hat, maybe an A's jersey. Once they move to Vegas, the A's, they'll be my second team.
That's kind of crazy. The last time Sonny Gray allowed more than 1 home run in a game, September 24th, 2021.
Interesting.
That's a long time ago.
Technically, we stayed at the A's stadium last time we were in Vegas.
Technically.
And yeah.
Technically. Yeah, man. The shout out to Trop.
I was sleeping in the dugout.
It felt like it. It felt like we were sleeping in the dugout.
Rebel,
though.
no bandwagoning. Okay, Rebel. If you can name 3 players on the A's without looking it up right now, I'll say you're a real A's fan.
I mean, why would anybody be an A's fan?
That's what I'm saying.
Like you're not like nobody's a bandwagon A's fan.
Everybody will be a bandwagon A's fan when they go to Vegas. Every single person.
You think?
Once they go to Vegas, things will start moving a little bit more. It'll be a little bit different. I think they'll get a little bit better.
Dude, I don't know, man. Like I think a bandwagon A's fan, like you're not gonna bandwagon a team that's bad. Like I could see people being like, "Oh, you're a bandwagon Yankee fan. You're a bandwagon Dodgers fan." Like those teams are usually good. I don't know.
Oh, Martin. Oh, good baseball talk. Something I know even less about than the NFL. Who's your favorite cricket team? Martin, I love whenever you send us cricket stuff.
Oh, dude. Shout out to Rick, Mets, man. Big Mets fan. All right, y'all. Let's get into this segment here. My voice, I don't know how much more I can do.
Just a precursor to what's coming up. 440 people in the chat. Can we get 400 bonks?
Yeah, so there's going to be some more bonks coming up here.
Can we get 400 bonks in the chat?
More bonking coming up here on the show. Coming up right now, I got some trade candidates. So obviously if the Raiders are going to buy, they might also be selling as well. So coming up, some trade candidates for the Silver and Black. Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report. And coming up on today's show, I'm going to be looking at some Raiders trade candidates at the NFL trade deadline. According to Diana Rossini, she said that the Raiders have been making phone calls, and they've been making calls in terms of, all right, could you potentially do a player-for-player trade? So as soon as I heard that, and for people who are watching this live and for people who didn't watch the first video that I put out earlier this week, I put out a video around Raiders trade targets, and I did that because of this report here by Diana. So she said the Raiders have been busy making calls around the league looking for a pass rusher since releasing Chandler Jones. They are looking for a player-for-player swap and may not want to give up too much. So as soon as I saw the player-for-player swap, I go, all right, if I'm already going to make a video about players that they could trade for, well, now let's make a video around players that they could trade away. So if they do end up selling a few players, and for those that do not know, the NFL trade deadline is October 31st at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Chugs and I will be live, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you turn on those notifications. But I do think depending on what happens here over the next 3 games, can decide a lot of whether or not this team is going to be a buyer or they're going to be a seller at the deadline. So how about this, y'all? If the Raiders end up making a trade, we're going live for it. If the Raiders end up moving on from anybody on their own team, I'm making a video around it. If it's a big-time trade, is when we go live. When the Raiders traded for Devontae Adams, we were live for, I want to say like 10 hours on that bad boy. When the Raiders make deals, we make deals here live. So make sure you subscribe because we know how to party here on the Raiders Report. All right, so let's look now at some potential dudes that the Raiders could trade away. And I don't have these ranked in any particular order, if you will. But what I wanted to be able to do here is just run through the list, kind of give you my reasoning of why I have the players on here that I do. The first name is the most obvious one. It is Hunter Renfrow. For the Raiders to not use Renfrow, I continually get frustrated by the fact that they're just not really going to use him. It seems like at this point, we have seen Josh McDaniels now have Hunter Renfrow 16 games when he's been healthy, and the production's not there. I don't know if Renfro's unmotivated. I don't know if McDaniels is just not smart enough to be able to use a receiver that would actually be able to fit something of what type of offense he's running, but it's just not there. So to me, you got to potentially move on from Renfrow. You have other talented options there. Yeah, Trey Tucker's banged up right now, but you decided to keep Christian Wilkerson, and who knows, maybe he could play a little bit of slot, DeAndre Carter. What I'm saying is, though, it doesn't matter all that much because Renfrow can't block, and the only two receivers that really get any work for this team are Devontae Adams and Jacoby Myers. If you're the silver and black, what exactly are you going to get for Renfrow? I'll give you my answer, but first, I want to know what you think that the Raiders could get for a Hunter Renfrow trade this year. I put out some Renfrow trade ideas a few months ago, and I get it. A lot of y'all didn't like what I put out there. Here's the thing. I do it not because of a trade that I want the Raiders to do. I do it because this show is for me to give my honest and true opinion. So it's going to be the pinned comment on today's show. Scroll on down and let me know what could you get for Hunter Renfrow in a trade this year. Due to Renfro's contract and due to his inability to really make a lot of splash plays right now, I would say that for the Raiders, you're probably going to get a sixth. If you'd get a fifth-round pick, that would surprise me. But to me, right now, I believe an NFL team, the most that they're going to offer the Raiders for Hunter Renfrow is a sixth-round pick. That's my personal opinion. Let's go to the next player here. It's Jermaine Illuminor. And I'm going to take some of the information that I got here from some Raiders sources. And for those that do not know, Jermaine Illuminor was not benched on Monday Night Football. He was injured in that play when Jimmy Garoppolo ended up getting sacked there. Munford ends up going in the game. However, the reason why Jermaine Illuminor is on this is because he's not going to be a happy camper if he doesn't start Week 6 against the New England Patriots. I know that he wants to get a start against his old team, and yes, this season's been a frustrating year for Jermaine. He's probably been the worst offensive lineman for the Silver and Black this season. He's had some tough assignments, there's no doubt about that. But with 248 snaps, 2 penalties, 5 sacks, and 11 pressures, the reason and the biggest reason why he's on here is because if Thayer Munford starts getting a few starts, I don't think Jermaine is going to love the idea of being put on the bench. I don't think that he deserves to be put on the bench. Personally, if it was up to me, this is a player that you should keep on your roster. However, there will be other NFL teams out there that come calling because of, Jermaine's best thing. It's his versatility. He can play right tackle. He can play left guard. He can play right guard. He can do a lot of different things on this offensive line. But if the Raiders want to go with their Munford, a younger player who also has shown that, hey, this guy can get some run as well. He's got 87 snaps. He's got an overall grade this year, according to PFF, at 73.5. To me, Jermaine Illuminor is a player to at least keep in mind if this team decides to go with Thayer Munford as a starter over Jermaine. All right, we got a few more names to get into here, but remember, today's show is sponsored by PrizePicks, and if you love fantasy, man, I love fantasy football, and I promise you, you're going to love PrizePicks, and especially because they're hooking up the nation here with one hell of a deal. So PrizePicks is daily fantasy sports made easy. PrizePicks is the most fun that I've had, winning up to 25 times my money this football season. You just select 2 or more players, pick more or less than their projected stats, and place your entry. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for first deposit match up to $100. Quick withdrawals, easy game plan, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what make PrizePicks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. So if you want to know what picks I'm going with this week, I'm going with Russell Wilson on the more for passing yards on Thursday Night Football, just because I think the Chiefs are the better team. They're going to be behind. That Broncos defense is terrible. That's going to lead to more passing yards for Wilson. C.J. Stroud has been having a great year. He's probably going to win Rookie of the Year, but I'm going to go with less because of how good that Saints defense is. And then Zach Wilson. Anytime I'm going to go see Zach Wilson, I'm probably going to take less. So remember, Nation, easy and exciting daily fantasy. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. That link's going to be available to you guys down in the comments and down in the description of today's show. Huge shout out to PrizePicks for sponsoring the Raiders Report. All right, let's go to the next name here for a Raiders trade candidate. I think this one might surprise a few people, so let me talk about it and kind of work my way through. Andre James. A lot of the times if I'm an NFL team, and a lot of NFL teams do this, where if you know that a player is not going to be back next season, well, maybe you try to get something for him in return. Andre James, every single season has gotten better. Time and time again, he has showed that he has the ability to play center when I didn't know if he was going to be able to play center. When John Gruden gave Andre James that deal that they did a few years ago, I was like, man, 3 years, $12 million, you don't really know what you're going to get in Andre. Here's the reason, though, why I think that they could potentially trade him. If they do put Thayer Munford in at right tackle, that then gives them the ability to maybe put Greg Van Roten at left guard. It then also gives you the ability to put Jermaine Illuminor at right guard. When the Raiders drafted Dylan Parham, I always thought that they were going to use him as center, and a lot of the sources that I talked to, they still view as Dylan Parham as that potential long-term center because he's not big enough to be an offensive guard in the NFL. So to me, you potentially put Dylan Parham in at center, the position that they originally drafted him for. You put Greg Van Roten or Jermaine Illuminor at left guard, or then you put the other one at right guard, and then you kick Thayer Munford out there at right tackle. I think Andre James has done a phenomenal job. Phenomenal, strong word. He's done a good job. He's done a much better job than what I anticipated. But the way that they could potentially move this offensive line around is the reason why I have Andre James here as a potential Raiders trade candidate. Let's go to the next name here. Jerry Tillery at defensive tackle. This is more just I want him off my football team. I think Jerry Tillery is the worst defensive tackle on this roster. McDaniels preaches that we need players that make good decisions. We need players that are leaders in the locker room. We need players that X, Y, and Z. Guess what? Tillery is none of those things. Tillery is not a player that I believe deserves to rep the silver and black, to rep the shield. He makes boneheaded plays on a weekly basis, and he's not any good. Why are you sticking with him? He struggled at the end of last season, and to me, I'd rather give more reps to some bunch of other players. I'd rather you give reps to Nesta Jade Silvera. I'd rather you give reps to Byron Young because both of those players have a chance. They're both rookies where I know Jerry Tillery is never going to be anything on this team. Adam Butler has outplayed him. Bilal Nichols has outplayed him. John Jenkins has outplayed him. I think I already said Adam Butler. I mean, they are outplaying him on a daily basis, so why does he continue to get run? I want the Raiders to trade away Tillery for anything. You get a 7th-round pick for him, that's a win. This is not a guy that you can continually have on your team because he hurts you when you don't need him to hurt you. Let's go to the final name here on this list. I'm going to go with Austin Hooper. And the reason why Hooper's on here is because, again, if you're not going to use a player, just you can get something for him. They don't use Michael Mayer. They barely use Austin Hooper. And to me, he could still catch the football at a high enough rate where if you were able to get a 7th-round pick for him, you could potentially look at it. You have Jasper Horsted. You could probably go out and add another tight end. Hell, bring back Cole Fotheringham or something like that as an extra tight end. Because to me, if you're not going to use 2 tight ends when you promised us that you were going to use more 2 tight end sets, why not just move on from him? I like Hooper. I thought he was going to be used a lot more, but you're not using him. So to me, I have seen this Raiders offense do basically nothing for 5 weeks, and you're one of the worst offenses in the league. I want something that's got a little bit more pizzazz. I want something that's got a little bit more flair, maybe a little bit more speed, maybe a little bit more help on defense. So if you could trade away Hooper and get that, that's kind of what I'm thinking here. All right, y'all, you be the GM. You be Dave Ziegler. I want you to name a player that you think that the Raiders should put on the trade block right now. Who's a guy? And I know most of y'all are probably going to say Renfrow, though. I think we all deep down love Renfrow. We wanted it to work out. I don't really know why it's not working out, but it's definitely a name to keep in mind. I think another corner to keep in mind that I didn't put on here, but I thought about, Amik Robertson. I know that the Raiders like Amik. He's played well, but when some of these other guys come back, they're going to have a tough decision here with Amik. So that's another name to at least keep in mind. If you want to take a screenshot, if you want to post this on social media, all I ask that you do is that you tag me on Instagram, or you can tag me on Twitter at Mitchell Renz 365. My Raiders trade candidates, as it stands right now, going into Week 6 against New England: Renfro, Illuminor, Andre James. Again, these kind of are flip-floppy. And then Jerry Tillery and Austin Hooper. Right now, these are the candidates that I think the Raiders could potentially move before the NFL trade deadline. If it was up to me, I would pick a lot different guys. I'd trade away Brandon Bolden because I don't even know why he's on this roster at this point. I would move definitely some other dudes. And the unfortunate part is, though, the Raiders don't listen to me. If they did, we'd be in a much better situation. That I can guarantee you. All right, y'all. Astros are up 5-0 over the Minnesota Twins. Will the Raiders make a trade this year? I hope that answer is yes. Coming up next here on the show, it's going to be time to do some racing. It's going to be time to do some racing. Justine, you in? So right now, Justine in. We got 10 people in, which means winner gets $50. $10 Venmo for a chance to win $50 as it stands right now. If you want to add me as a friend on Venmo, I'm at Mitchell Renz 365. I just saw Free Fly Jedi just added me. So Free Fly, if you want to get in this race, let's get it in. What up, Anonymous? Trading Devontae Adams makes no sense to me. This is a team that you trade Adams and Josh McDaniels is literally signing fire me. Like, you're not going to trade away Adams because if they do, obviously the fan base is going to freak the F out. Yeah. And then even on top of that, I mean, you might as well kiss your job goodbye if you're McDaniels. You can't trade away Devontae. You can't. I don't know how you could even think about it. The only way that it's possible, honestly, is if the Chicago Bears called you and they go, you know what? We'll give you a first-round pick this year and a first-round pick next year, but they give you the Carolina Panthers first-round pick, then I consider it.
Rebel, trade Hoyer for tacos.
Sold. Brian Hoyer, what do you want? I'll take it.
Can you get chips?
Mm-mm. No chips, no cookies.
Chips.
No chips, no cookies.
They'll give you some tacos for Hoyer, no chips, no cookies.
There we go. All right, Jeremy, final call here. And we don't have anyone else, so let's do this race. And then we're going to get on out of here. The next time that you'll see Jeremy Chuggs and I live is going to be on Thursday. Chiefs,
Mitch,
Broncos.
You actually haven't even seen this one yet.
I haven't seen it.
Here we go.
Yeah, I don't know what this is going to look like. I'm very curious to see what it's. Oh, wait a minute. Free Fly's in. Free Fly Jedi in.
Okay.
Free Fly Jedi, you in. So 11 people in, which means winner gets $55. You know what this reminds me of? The track from Moo Moo Farm from Nintendo 64, Mario Kart. That's where I feel like I'm on. All right, y'all, if you can't tell, we're doing a horse race here. Also, Rebel Montana, you in. So now we're at 12. Winner gets $60. For those that don't know, we're doing a horse race here. I feel like horses was a good way to get it started. I'm Punchy33 says, can I get in? Yes. We will let the final people get in here. Rebel just got in. Free Fly Jedi's in. Right now we have 12 racers. Rebel, Free Fly. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Am I counting right there? Okay. Yeah, we got 12 people in. 12 people in. Rebel says 30-second timeout. Who do you think's going to win the race? Who do you think's going to win the race? All right, I'm Punchy. You in. I'm Punchy33 in. 13 horses in the race. When you add it, does it just add it right in now? I'm Punchy needs one. Okay. I'm Punchy in. I am Punchy. Punchy. Very punchy. Corn the long way. Hits different. It hits different. Also, we had somebody say that they were going to make us hit the gong today. What happened?
So he actually he sent me screenshots. It was not letting him.
Oh, really? Wow, that's wild.
I told him don't worry. He said he's gonna make a $50 later,
Oh, really? I would say somebody messaged us and said, "Yo, man, make you hit the gong today." Ah, dude, don't even trip, dog. Don't even trip, dog.
All right. How many times do you want me to shuffle it? He said shuffle the horses.
Shuffle them up. Let's see.
How many times? 2 or 3 times. Type 2 for 2 shuffles. Type 3 for 3 shuffles. How many times do I shuffle the horses? 2 or 3? I'm not doing 7, Rebel. I'm not doing it. It's 2 or 3.
7. I mean, it's
All
a
right.
landslide of 3.
3. All right. Ready? Count with me.
Yep.
1, 2,
Okay.
3.
All right. I picked my horse. I know who's going to win. I have my horse picked. Who are you going with?
I'm going with Free Fly Jedi.
You're going to go with Free Fly Jedi. My horse is, I just, in my mind, I think of Oshkosh. So I'm going to go with Osh up there.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Osh. That's the horse that I'm picking.
I don't hate it.
All right, y'all. Who are you going with? Taino goes Luis. It's honestly usually the right answer. Luis Rodriguez, I think, has won more duck races, but this is a horse race, so we'll see.
Nico's he won twice yesterday.
Yep.
And I know he's won before.
Here we go. Starting in 3. I'll refresh my phone one more time here. Correct. That's it. I'm Punchy's the last one. This race, 65 doll hairs. You ready? You ready? Starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's get it going. Oh, man. This is a lot quicker. Patrick B out to an early start. Matthew Chase also up here in the front. I kind of like that you can see all the horses. John Borelli at the top. This is much, much different than a duck race here. Justin Gons, Borelli right now with an early lead. I'll kind of get out of the way here a little bit. Borelli out to the lead, but wait, Tony Garcia now might have this one just by a nose. But watch out for Moses Sanchez. Oh, he's starting to fall back here a little bit. Mike Midnow takes the lead. Borelli starting to fall back. Justin Gons is saying, man, I had way too many beers last night. But wait, Justin Gons now just got a second life, starting to pull up here to the scene. Kobe Carson down at the bottom. Rebel Montana just keeps on going back and forth. Rebel's horse looks sick. Justin Gons with the lead with the pink hair. Will he be able to keep the lead? John Borelli, Mount Raidermore says, wait a minute, don't sleep on me. We got 10 seconds to go. $65 at stake. Matthew Chase, Free Fly Jedi over Matthew Chase. And I think Matthew Chase sticks this one out. And it's a big time win for Matthew. I was going to say, these horses, and what's also impressive, same pace. I mean, all the other horses are still running, and now Chase is skipping. He's just skipping along here. What a win here. Matthew, just message me. Message me that you got it here. 65 horse race.
And just because we're having fun, we're chilling,
Yeah.
I want to do one more and try out a different one.
Okay, I'm down. Let's do. I don't.
Low stakes.
No, because that's a. All right. Fine.
Low stakes.
Fine. $5 to get in.
But you can get as many as you want.
Boy. Horses faster than ducks. Shocker. Matthew, just confirm that you got it, brother. If you could.
I'm gonna do something different.
Oh, congrats. Yeah, Free Fly, you better apologize. Got to have your horse more ready. Got to have the horse more ready to go. We'll do one more race here. $5 to get in. I don't know. What are our options?
I have another one already picked.
You have? All right. The options are endless, man. The options are endless.
Not necessarily. There's a limit of.
I think we have unlimited. Tim Nelson in. Luis Rod in. Right now, Luis Rodriguez and Tim Nelson are in the next. I have no idea what this race is. Luis said, "Is this double or nothing?" No. We're
But you can put in as many as you want.
That's true, Luis. If you want 100 ducks in this race, you could do it. Wow, this is kind of funny. My dad in. I can't wait for the rig comments to roll in if Richie pulls this one out. Yeah, everyone say hi to my dad. He's in this race. He just sent me a 5. Jeffrey, in. PG said, put me in. In. All right, so right now we got PG, Jeffrey, my dad, Luis, and Tim.
Winner would get $13.
How's that work?
Well, it was 12 and a half, but if it's 50 cents, I say we just.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. We'll round up. We'll round up then. All right, this is going to be last call. Last call for our $5 race. I don't know what the race is exactly. Dad, here's the thing. It's not going to be a horse race, so I don't know if Giddying Up is going to help you. I don't know if Giddy Up will help you.
No.
Yeah, I think I know what race I would want. We're going to have to choose a different one all the time. Oshkosh. I know, man. I know. We got a few more in. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this guy. His name's Trivan. In. We have Herson. In. And I believe Rebel. In. Eric Furr. In. So right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9 racers in. Final call here to get in our 50-50 raffle. Andres in. Justine in. 11. It says Justine. Oh, wait, yeah, with an E. Okay. All right, final refresh on my phone. Yeah, also her messages. Oh, wait a minute. I'm also realizing she wants. All right, so you got to put it. She wants 3. She wants 3 of them. Yep, number 1 Raider chick from Justine is what she also sent me in the message here. Okay, I believe that's all of them. I'm going to refresh my phone one more time here. We have Osh, Cologne, in. Buckethead, what's your name? Buckethead, are you Aaron? Because Aaron is got 2 entries. Aaron and Aaron. Which puts us at now, how many? 16. Who? Oh, yeah, that's true. I'm Punchy 33 is Aaron. Jared Davis in. Buckethead. You said you sent one in as Will. Honestly, Buckethead, no, I don't have anything. Oh, okay, now I do. It literally just came in. Maybe it was a little bit delayed. Jared Davis in. All right, Buckethead wants 2. I just got one from Matthew here. Matthew Chase, he's got 1. So that's 17, 19, 20. Winner gets $50. $5 in. Winner gets 50.
Woo! Sperry!
Oh, man. What an awful, awful swing that was.
Oh, Sperry.
I don't know if you guys can tell, but the Astros just got a strikeout. He's excited. He's excited. All right, y'all. Let's go. Let's see what this race is. You ready? King Sanchez invalid. Peace. King, I don't know what you're talking about, brother. I don't know exactly what you're talking about. Or are you still talking about, like, I don't know, the one-word reaction? Maybe that? Oh, he's talking about invalid argument. It's the guy's name. He says peace. Peace out, man. Sorry, that's on me. I'm ready to go. Again, I don't know what race he has chosen here, so you never know with Jeremy Chugs what you're going to get. I'm a little bit nervous to see what we have in store. I want to see first, though. Again, it's going to be your final chance here. What? With a hand? I mean, just show them what I'm looking at here. This is... We're going to do a snail race. At first, I'm like, what is that?
And I promise you, all names are in 20 names.
Okay. All right, here, Justine. All right, hang on. We got Jerry said, not so fast. Jerry Mick. We got 21 in now. 21 snails. A little escargot race. A little escargot there from I'm Punchy. Okay. Dudes, do the eyes change? Yeah, a little bit. All right, y'all. Final refresh here on Venmo at Mitchell Renz 365. I don't have anything. 3. What does the winner get? Is that math correct? $53. Sounds good. $53 to the winner here, starting in 3, 2, 1. Go! And out to an early lead. I can't see any of these names. I think Buckethead's got a lead. Oh, my Lord. This is gross. I feel like I'm watching The Walking Dead. Luis Rodriguez down on the bottom here. PG, I can see his name. I mean, right now, I don't know who's in the lead. I'm going to be honest. I have no idea. I don't know who's winning this race, and there's 20 seconds to go. Oh, man, I think Hurston just slipped back there. Jeffrey Kreischer also slipped. Luis Rodriguez, man, is steady at this right now. Is it going to be Luis, or is it about to be Ash Colon? Is it going to be Ash? But wait, I think Jeffrey Kreischer. What? Jeffrey Kreischer won? And he gets a leaf. That was confusing. Not every race is going to be a great one. Oh, man. But you know what? Jeffrey, congratulations to you, man. I don't know what to think of that. You put me in a tough spot there. I don't know if we're going to do the snail races anymore. Cheers to Jeffrey. Buckethead said that was awful. Oh, man. Jeffrey, 53, snail race. Last one, double or nothing? Okay. Jeremy wants one more. It's double or nothing. This is the high stakes race. $20 to get in. Justine says that was weirdly funny. Jeremy says boo that race. I know. We gotta give you guys one more race. I can't end today's show on that note. I can't end it on that note. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna put 2 minutes on my phone right now. Okay? 2 minutes. If you want in our final duck race, or our final race, I guess is what I gotta start calling it. $20 to get in. I got 2 minutes on my phone going. As soon as that 2-minute timer starts ringing, we're going to run this race here. To no surprise to anybody, Luis Rodriguez is in. Luis Rodriguez is in the next race. So if you want in, let me know. If you want in, let me know. Also, Jeff, if you could confirm that you got the money, maybe he already did. That would be great, Jeff. Why not race with ships? We might. We might. Again, right now, Luis Rodriguez is the only person in this one. $20 to enter. Venmo me at Mitchell Renz. No, we're not doing snails. We're not doing a snail race. I don't know what the race is going to be. Jeremy has not told me. But I think it's going to be better than snails. I hope that it's going to be better than snails. Jeffrey right now is the only person in this race. I don't know what it is. But you know what? I'm Punchy said, get me in, coach. I'm Punchy in the race. Raul in the race. So now we have 3 people in. Justine in. 4 people in, which means $20. You would win $40 right now. You'd win $40. Not bad. $40 to the winner. 20 seconds to go. 20 seconds to go here, and then we're going to run it. Trivan says, put me in, coach. Winner now gets... Really? 50? Yeah, $50. Sorry. My math is just never a good thing. The timer just went off. I will refresh my phone one more time here. All right, so we have Trivan, Justine, Raul, Aaron, Luis. $20 in, winner gets $50. I don't see anybody else. Let's see what the race looks like here. Let's see what the race looks like here. I'm curious, man. Very, very curious. Shout out to DJ What. Shout out to Chris. Oh, okay, we're going to go a dog. A little dog race in action here. Oh, if any of them look like Chuck, I'm just going to hope that that one wins. Oh, man. Let's go Trivan. I'm going to be rooting for Trivan. If you won in the dog race, who let the dogs out? All right, here we go. Final chance to get in. I don't have any names. Let me know who you got. Trivan, I'm Punchy, Raul, Justine, or Luis Rodriguez. You ready? Sit. Stay. Go. And we're out to an early rush here from I Am Punchy, and they are moving right now. Raul Chavez down there below, but I believe Luis Rodriguez probably in second place. I'm Punchy's got an early lead here, and I'll tell you what, I'm Punchy is still running a very strong race, but I've been doing these races for a long time. I think Justine and Raul is where this race is at. I think it's between Raul and Justine saving up their energy. But Trivan in his Chuck costume is starting to pull up here a little bit. I'm Punchy, though, starting to fall back. I think he just blew his load a little bit too early. Luis Rodriguez can smell the treats, can smell the bacon.
Here they go!
Raul Chavez and Justine. This race is really, really close. I'm Punchy right now. Has an early lead still. Still has the lead, but Raul, is he about to do it? Raul, is the dog about to do it? Raul, or is it going to be Trivan or Justine? Oh, my Lord. What a race. What a race. Justine pulls this one out. I mean, she was in the back the entire time. Shout out to Justine. What a great race. What a great, great race there for Justine. Wow, that was electric. Justine, you are the winner of $50. Can you confirm down below that you received it, please? Congrats to Justine. What a race. What a freaking race, man. What an absolute race. I know. I mean, somebody get these dogs some water. My goodness. Somebody get them some water. All right, y'all. Remember, if you haven't already, click that subscribe button. We are a YouTube channel. We are a community here. Yeah, I agree. A little bit better than the Snails. And the next time that you guys see me live here on this show is going to be Thursday Night Football, Broncos, Chiefs. Jeremy and I are going to have some fun games in store for you. Appreciate everyone that tuned in today. I promise you my voice will be back on Thursday, and I do not plan on being hungover on Thursday. So from me, from Jeremy Chuggs, I want you to all enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, and we'll see you live here on the Raiders Report Thursday for Thursday Night Football. Make sure you're subscribed. I'll see you guys then.